Hello, everybody. My name is Theo, and on behalf of FP Markets, we thank you very much for watching this video. In this new series, I'll be covering all the latest news with regards to cryptocurrency. But before we dive right in, please like and subscribe to this video as it helps us a lot. We greatly appreciate it. Also, of course, feel free to join our Traders Hub. Check it out. There is a lot of educational material here. It's a home to a wide array of educational materials such as videos. You can find articles here. You can also find traders tools such as an economic calendar and a forex calculator. All this information is included and provided by Trading Central, and this is available for all our account holders. Now, let's dive right into the price of Bitcoin so far looking into this week. Now, the Bitcoin halving itself took place between the 19th and 20th of April. Since then, we have seen a bit of activity when it comes to the price. We can see that we had a bit of a jump after the halving. We were trading at around $63,000. We got up to a high of around 67,000, and since then we've seen a downward time. We've seen a jump at around $56,500, which is a very strong support line. However, there is plenty of liquidity to the downside still that can potentially touch for Bitcoin, notably 50,000, 51,000, but there is still more juice at around the 44, 45,000 region and 40,000 region. Plenty of juice on the upside as well, though, of course. We can see from our resistance levels, we've still got plenty of area to be able to test our all-time highs once more. However, post-halving, we were always speculating that there was going to be a potential call-off in the price. Why? Because the miners are the ones that were going to be greatly affected the most. Why? Because their revenues were going to be split in half now that the halving took place. Now that their revenues are plummeting, as you can also see here from our latest article, Bitfarms Bitcoin mining earnings plummet. Now, with this one in place, it should be mentioned that the reason for this is because the Bitcoin halving itself resulted in a 5.9 increase in network difficulty compared to March. So the harder that it is for the network to be able to mine, it's going to require more computing power, and therefore it needs more energy. And now that the price of Bitcoin has also seen some downside, this is also a double whammy for miners, as they're also seeing their revenues plummet, and they're also needing more money to be able to keep their mining going. However, there don't seem to be any signs of Bitcoin miner capitulation despite the plummeting revenue so far. CryptoQuant CEO Kijong Ji said that despite a drop in Bitcoin mining revenue since the halving, Bitcoin miners haven't thrown any signs of capitulation yet. Now, there's two ways that they say it, and it's quite simple here. You have two options. One, you capitulate, or two, you wait for the price to rise in Bitcoin once again. Now, that's pretty much all miners can do. In the meantime, if we do see a case of miners needing to do a little bit of a sell-off to keep afloat, then of course this could contribute further to Bitcoin's price dropping. This could also then stimulate the further drops that we've mentioned, potentially to 51,000, 44,000, and 40,000 respectively. So there are signs that there is possibility of this, but so far what they're telling us is that there are no signs of this just yet. Now, we're looking into some of the institutional buying itself, which led to a lot of this price rise in the last few months, pricing in, of course, the halving as well. BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF. We discussed last week how there was a record of inflows. This has now seen this record break, and now we've seen an outflow for the first time in 77 days. Now, this is something that's completely normal in ETFs. There's always going to be ins and outs, but they have witnessed record net outflows now. This sums up to around $563.7 million across various funds on the May the 1st. This included Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, and this also included Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Now, this, like we said, is something that's completely normal. This is something that would have been expected as well, seeing a bit of a price drop as well. Seeing as we've seen a price drop, it would be normal for some profit to be taken since the initial buying of BlackRock's spot ETF came at a much lower price near the 40,000 mark. Now, if we look at that, the next article, you can also see that BlackRock are leading a latest funding. Now, this comes for real-world assets for tokenizing them. This comes from a company called Securitize. Now, the plan is simple. They plan on being able to tokenize real-world assets. Now, this can be anything from stocks, this can be real estate, this can be vehicles, this could be many, many things in the future. Point is, BlackRock are investing in this, meaning that this space is not going away. Eventually, everything will be tokenized, most likely. If we are going to be going into digital currency, it would only make sense that we have a tokenized world as well. Now, in other news, when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to crypto space overall, Shenpeng Zhao, otherwise known as CZ Binance, has been sentenced to 4 months in prison. The latest debate has been, why did Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX get 25 years? Well, there's a big difference. For starters, what Shenpeng Zhao has been sentenced for is something that's far less of a potential crime than what Sam Bankman-Fried did. So, what Shenpeng Zhao has been charged with is poorly managing anti-money laundering for such a big exchange. Now, this itself is, of course, a crime. It's something that is very, very important. But the important thing to discuss here, and why is Shenpeng Zhao getting such a small sentence, is because, for starters, the crime that he's committed in comparison to Sam Bankman-Fried, where he's literally defrauding clients, is completely different scale. But at the same time, Sam Bankman-Fried was pleading pleading innocent, while at the same time, CZ has already admitted his mistakes. He's already admitted that he's wrong and that he's guilty. And most importantly, he resides in the UAE, where there isn't an extradition treaty with the US, yet he's still volunteered to turn himself in. So this can only be a good thing for someone like Shenpeng Zhao. Obviously, no one wants to be sentenced to prison, but considering it's a 4 month prison sentence and his net value is still around, his personal value is at around $33 billion, it won't be the end of the world for him. Sam Bankman-Fried, however, has got 25 years and won't be coming out until he's in his 50s. So there's been plenty of news so far. Most important thing is always to note is that the price of Bitcoin is still staying steady. It was always going to be choppy. There is potential for Bitcoin to still hit around 60 and 62, 63,000, coming up to 67, 68,000. But there's still just as much chance that we could see a drop to 50,000 and 44, 45,000, potentially 40 as well, as previously mentioned. We've mentioned that this could be because of the miners having a sell-off. We could also mention now that it's because of the ETFs having a bit of a sell-off as well. There's plenty of reasons to be able to see this. This is something that's completely normal. It's happened in any other Bitcoin halving in the past, where there's a bit of a sell-off before we see a rise. And until then, it's a time for us to wait and see. Until then, thank you very much for being able to watch this video once again. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any other further questions, then feel free to get in touch with us. Our support team is available 24/7, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you once again for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you once again in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.